What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And today, I want to discuss The Walking Dead, the ones who live. I actually just woke up from a nap. so, I let myself wake up a little bit, but I've been wanting to come to the channel and talk about this. I was going to do episode by episode reviews like I did for the HBO Max The Last of Us series, but I found that that's a little difficult to do. I have a much harder time reviewing each episode. I do not know why. Maybe eventually I'll do that. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to talk about the ones who live as a whole, kind of like I did with the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. I'll probably do the same thing with the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2. But we'll kind of see how this video does and kind of see how we want to move on with these reviews from there, because I love this franchise. I've been following this IP for such a long time. And I don't, even through the ups and downs of it, I want to stick with it. So if you guys are Walking Dead fans, definitely consider leaving a like on the video, subbing to the channel, and we'll have more Walking Dead content in the future. I know Walking Dead's been kind of it's a spotty topic here on the channel. Sometimes videos do great, sometimes they don't. And at the end of the day, I want to talk about things that bring passion to me. So if this video doesn't do well, that's fine. But I try to sometimes not bring up The Walking Dead a lot because I know it's not a very popular thing like it was 10 or so years ago. So anyway, with that being said, enough rambling. Let's talk about The Walking Dead, the ones who live. So what can I say, man? So this show is a weird one for me because I kind of half expected to have another feeling towards this show as a whole. I think there's some good. I think there's some good in this show. And I think there's some things that The Walking Dead's been doing for years that I think are absolute dog shit. And I just feel like this show kind of continues that. And it's kind of crazy to think because, listen, I know everybody was waiting for the GOAT himself, Rick Grimes, to come back to grace our screens and be a part of this Walking Dead world. And we got that. We got that. Sort of. We got it, but in a very shallow way. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, one of the conversations I had with the people that I watch the show with, being my wife and my sister, is that obviously this is a different version of Rick Grimes than what we're used to seeing. We're seeing a Rick Grimes that is captured. We're seeing a Rick Grimes that is stuck in a place he doesn't want to be, and all he wants to do is go home. He even cuts his own hand off because he's trying to get back to his family and the people he loves. So we know this is a desperate Rick Grimes, but we know this is also a very, very timid, very, very, like a caricature of the Rick Grimes character because it's been so long, because he's been stuck in this place and cannot escape. He's become a shell of his former self. I think that's what I was really looking for there. So when you see Rick in these episodes, really from episodes like 1 through 3 especially, he is, or maybe even 1 through 4, he's just a very, he's just not himself. He's more of a, like, just a very, like, again, I say a shell of himself, and so it's kind of weird to see Rick, like, not being that way, and you don't really get to see too many badass moments in this, and I think in those regards, I'm a little let down from it, because I think that the acting, obviously, like, by Andrew Lincoln, Rick Grimes, and we got to bring up Denai Guerrero as Michonne. I love Michonne. I've loved her since she's come onto the screen. I loved her in the comics, her mystique and her mysteriousness of her character, especially at the beginning. The acting from these actors is top notch, and you can't deny that. You can't deny their chemistry. You can't deny Rick and Michonne's chemistry. You can't deny Andrew and Denai's chemistry on screen. They do such a good job with that, and I think honestly that's the best part of the show. Honestly, in some ways, it is the best part of the show in a sense that their chemistry is off the charts. It's also the weakest part of the show because I feel like this show does a very bad job of just letting things play out and letting the viewer see this relationship on screen and not having to tell you every 5 seconds that they're madly in love or that they're passionate for each other or they can't take their eyes off each other, so they got to bang it out. This show does that a lot, and something that it's kind of like in the show, and if you guys have watched this, I don't know, maybe you guys are watching this first and then maybe going to check out the season or whatever. I mean, maybe you are, maybe you're not, whatever. But if you have watched it, you do know that they say a lot of things like, like Jadis, for instance, right? So Jadis is also in this show, and if you don't, you should know who Jadis is from the original show, The Walking Dead World Beyond. She's been in the series for a long time now, and something she says to Rick and Michonne, it was kind of cool at first when she first said it, but after saying it like three, four, five times, I was a bit annoyed. She kept saying, "You two together are unstoppable. You two together are unstoppable. You two together are unstoppable." And I don't know, man. Like I was just kind of getting annoyed by it because it's like, one, I don't think the dialogue hits as hard as you want it to be. You know what I mean? I think that that's yes, we do know that Rick and Michonne are a power couple. They are a duo. They are a strong force to be reckoned with. But we've known this since the main show. We don't need to be told this over and over again. And that was kind of starting to be a bit irritating and just corny just to keep hearing it. And can we talk about Jadis for a second? I don't like this character. I have not liked her since season 7 when she was introduced. I think she's a backstabbing character. I think she has continued to be backstabby. And dude, even by the end of the show, she's still a backstabbing bastard. And then at the end, right before she dies, oh, okay, oh, well, yeah, here's all the information that I had on Alexandria, so that way you guys can escape and they can't ever find Alexandria, blah, 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 blah. And they try to give this, like, montage showing scenes from the original show of Jadis, and she's with the garbage people, and I'm just sitting here like, am I supposed to be feeling sad for this? Because I just don't care. I don't care about her character. When Rick shot her, I was like, finally, long overdue. She's not like a Father Gabriel character, and one thing I will say, I do find it interesting that Father Gabriel and Jadis did kind of have like a thing going, or they at least had some kind of relationship going where they felt comfortable with each other because they both kind of start out the same, right? Like, even though Jadis never really stops being like a backstabber, but Gabriel, he was kind of like that too at the beginning. Like, he was very temperamental. He was also like he was a snake. He's a snake in the grass, especially when like the group gets to Alexandria and he's over here going behind Rick's back and going to Deanna and saying, "Hey, these people are not good people. Keep me, throw them out." Blah blah blah. But the thing about Gabriel is that he had actual character, like character movement, and he actually like grew as a character, and he actually became like one of my personal favorite characters in the entire show. He grew to love these people that I don't know who've been saving his ass over and over again, and he becomes a formidable survivor and a good person and a very critical thinker. And I think that's why he becomes sort of like a leader in Alexandria, especially when they have like the council. And that's really cool, man. That's such a big character arc for him. And I love Father Gabriel, and I was really excited to see him, at the small snippets we've seen of him and the ones who live. I thought it was a really nice touch getting to see him a little bit more in this. And especially with how Jadis is as a person, it's interesting to see that Gabriel and her, like, were actually hit it off because it kind of makes sense, especially with the way their stories start. But what more can I really say, man? I think the CRM are trash. I have not liked the CRM since really they've been announced, since we've seen their first like little hints of their presence. I just think they're weak, man. Honestly, I thought there was a group of villains that showed up towards the end of The Walking Dead. I think they're called the Scavengers or the Ravagers. I don't remember. They were really cool when they were first announced. It was like the group of like, I don't know, like 15 or 20 people, and they all were wearing like cool ass masks. I might be able to show it up on the screen here. I thought up until now they were the weakest villains. No, but by far the CRM are, dude. They really made this army. They really made the CRM look to be like the end all, see all, like group or community or army, whatever you want to call it. And it just, for me, the way it ended, I felt, and I can just, I mean, look, I know I'm all over the place. I can honestly tell you the finale was so rushed. I really felt like they should have made this an 8 to 10 episode season. At least make the finale 2 or 3 hours long. And I know that's a long time, but you've got to close out this story, and you've got to make these, like, you just got to flush this shit out. I just feel like this was just thrown together, and I just You hype up the CRM to be this big bad. You know, they talk about during the entire show the echelon. I think it's called the echelon briefing, and pretty much it's like this briefing that the higher ups of the CRM get to be a part of and get to learn about. There's a character named Thorn, which by the way she sucks too. Thorn, after Okafor dies at the very beginning of the show, Thorn gets promoted.
You have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
And then, like she talks about the echelon briefing, and she tells Rick like, "You do not understand what's in this echelon briefing. This echelon briefing will change everything, Grimes." Like, if you watch the show, you know. But anyway, this echelon briefing was bullshit. Like, I was expecting something bigger, something more like detrimental to the world of The Walking Dead. And I guess it kind of is, or not really detrimental. It's more of, I was expecting more of a what the fuck kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like something that like blows your mind. The echelon briefing is essentially the CRM just goes around bombing communities. That's it. That's it. Bombing communities. That's all they do. Starting, they've been bombing communities anyway, but their next target was like this community in Portland or something. It's like, what? Like, that's it? Like, dude, I was expecting some kind of crazy thing, like maybe they found the cure, or maybe there was like a talking walker or something, or maybe there was some kind of like, I don't know, just something better than that. The writing in this show is just not good. It's just not good. These shows, The Walking Dead, really, honestly, people want to say, oh, Walking Dead 7 and 8 were so bad. Listen, The Walking Dead's had slow parts the entire runtime. Let's be honest here. But the writing from like seasons 10 of the original show, 11, The Walking Dead World Beyond, Fear the Walking Dead for the most part, and then these 3 mediocre shows have been terrible. They've been terrible. The writing has sucked so bad that these spinoffs have been mediocre. Even Rick and Michonne, which sucks because The Ones Who Live I thought was going to be like the shining star of this spinoff thing and really kick off something that could be interesting to bring me as a fan back into the fold. It didn't. Let's talk about the ending sequence. I'm sorry if I hit my microphone. Let's talk about the ending sequence. So after pretty much taking out the CRM in like 5 minutes, Michonne and Rick, they fly off. They land in this open field, right? You can tell the budget was starting to like, you could tell the budget was starting to run out. They land in this field, and RJ and Judith, they start running out the woods, and they all embrace, and it's got some emotional moments. It tugs on your heartstrings a little. It's tugging on your heartstrings until RJ starts opening his freaking mouth. You're the brave man I believed. Like, no freaking emotion, no nothing. And I'm just sitting here like, it just feels rushed to me. I just feel like this reunion, like it was good to see Judith reunite with Rick and Michonne, because Judith has been a staple in the show, even though she hasn't really been obviously a front runner in the show, right? For that long, but in the original show, but just to see her interact with Michonne again, and then getting to see Rick, and that meant way more to me, and that was such a good moment. And then RJ opens his mouth, and the only cool thing about that was seeing Rick touch RJ's hat, just like he used to do with Carl. And I think they did that for a reason, to kind of, again, pull on some heartstrings. And I think we needed to see a reunion of some sort, but it didn't feel deserved. It didn't feel like it was something that should have happened right now. It just doesn't feel natural. It feels rushed. And honestly, that's honestly the biggest, for me, it's several things. I think the characters were not great in this. Rick and Michonne honestly were a highlight. And that's why, to me, I think The Ones Who Live is my favorite spinoff show. But that's only because of Rick and Michonne. Everything else was mediocre. Everything else, every character that popped up, they popped up just to give them a little bit of story and then kill them off like soon after. It's not even like you can, why even try to like develop new characters and try to get me to care about them if you're gonna kill them? I thought Thorn was garbage. I did not like what they were doing with her character. It felt a bit too reminiscent to like season one, like Shane. Especially there's a moment in the woods, you guys probably know what I'm talking about, where she's got her gun aimed right at Michonne and she's kind of doing the breathing thing. And I was like, okay, well that's kind of a cool vibe. It just doesn't work well with her. And I've seen this actress before. I've seen her before and I like her work and the things she's done. I just didn't think she did much here. I also too, this is like on another tangent. I could not understand what the hell she was saying half the time. Like I had to put on subtitles whenever she talked. Like I had to like I'm watching on AMC Plus. I have to rewind it, turn on subtitles, and listen to her talk because it's she. I can't understand a damn thing she says. And if you listen to the actress, she doesn't talk like that. Now I know Thorne is from a different. Yeah, okay, whatever. Every character, every show has that one character who talks like this all the time. Rick Grimes. Rick, you gotta learn the echelon briefing. It's stuff you'll never understand, Rick Grimes. Like it's just. Ugh. I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't come. I'm not meaning in any kind of weird. I know there's probably people that talk like that, but it's just I just can't understand shit. Like I just can't understand anything that the character is saying, and it's just frustrating. But yeah, like you know, I just think this show sucks. In the grand scheme of things, it sucks. Like it's not terrible. Again, mediocre at best. It's probably a 5 or 6. I'm not happy with the way this went. I'm not happy with the ending. I'm not happy with the way you're. I'm glad that the characters got a good ending in a sense that I'm glad Rick and Michonne didn't die. I am happy about that. Although straight up bullshit. Like and that's the thing. Like I know again you got people that are going to say in the comments like you can't think of realism when you got a show full of zombies. But listen, what The Walking Dead started out was realism with zombies. And I think that now the show has just gotten so ridiculous. Like how Rick didn't die in that final sequence, or one of the final scenes where he has like a grenade in his hand and he uses corpses to protect himself from this bomb, from this grenade exploding. And I'm just like, dude, give me a fucking break. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see Rick die. But I'm also like, dude, y'all can't think of nothing else. Like, are you kidding me? I just don't feel like the writing's that good, man. AMC, they suck, and I know they're making money. So the thing is, though, if we don't step up as a community, the Walking Dead community, this is the same type of shit we're gonna keep getting. Is it bad? No, it's not bad. But should we settle for not bad, or should we settle for good storytelling? If this show had the writing like Breaking Bad, throw Vince Gilligan in there, Peter Gold. I mean, if you throw anybody in there just to give this show and this IP a new life and some good writing with good dialogue and believable set pieces, I just to me, I think you got a better show. But it's sad to say it, and I don't want to keep going on and on because I feel like I'm rambling. I didn't really have a script for this. I'm just kind of going off the dome. I was overall, I want to say I was disappointed, but honestly, I'm not. I know it sounds like I am, and I probably said the word disappointed a few times in this review. But really, what I really want to say is I expected little, so I didn't expect much from this. So honestly, I'm not as disappointed as I would say if I was like hyped for this. Does that make sense? I wasn't really hyped for this. I knew that this show was probably not going to live up to my expectations, and it did not. I hope that we see Rick again in the future. I would like to see Rick and Daryl reunite. I would like to see them do something. I heard there's supposed to be like a Walking Dead crossover event in the future. So maybe I have all of them together. I am curious to see who's going to be the big bad because I thought the whole reason for the crossover event was because the CRM was still going to be a problem. Per the ending of this show, it seems like they're not going to be, but we'll have to see, man. I don't even know anymore. The writing in these shows just sucks so bad. I don't really know what to expect. But anyway, so let me know what your guys' thoughts down below. How'd you feel about The Ones Who Live? I know it seems like I'm going really, really hard on it, but honestly, it was just good to see Rick and Michonne back, especially Rick because we haven't seen him in so long. So their chemistry's off the charts. It was good to see them interact. I thought the little, the lovey-dovey scenes, them kissing every 5 seconds and acting like 15-year-old girls, 15-year-old, like a couple. Like, you remember like when you were young and when you get your first girlfriend, especially when you guys have a little bit of freedom where y'all like are kissing all the time and holding hands. That's what it kind of felt like to me. But I also understand too they haven't seen each other in so long, so I whatever. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. I'm probably being way too hard on this, but I'm curious to see what you guys think down below. Hope there'll be better storytelling in the future, but I'm just gonna keep my expectations low, and we'll go from there. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next one. Stay dead, my friends.